Hello, welcome to this week's Free Spirit reading. So we're journeying on, we're moving on through here. We're going to card number 15 of the Major Arcana. This is the 16th card because the Fool is a 0. And this is another one. This is why I did this, this is another scary one for people, the Devil. That's the artwork, and you can look more at the photo that I post on Facebook for more detail on this. I also want to point out the Doreen Virtue version, which is a little gentler, and she calls it Ego with Archangel Jophiel. And there we see the Fool in the foreground. And on this card it says, a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. So I'll just share a little bit that I researched. Again, I give kudos to Biddy Tarot, Biddytarot. Biddy Tarot is where I go to do my research. I really like the way that she presents her information, and go there if you want to learn more, but I'm sourcing a lot of this from there because I'm learning right alongside you. So this image is definitely about sexuality, addictions, materialism, and being tied to other people, ways of thinking, a mindset, being tied materialistically to things, being an overdependence on something, somebody, or a way of thinking. It's like going overboard, basically, and where you feel powerless. He is half man, half goat. And the goat piece of this is important because you think about the word scapegoat. And it's really where we're putting our power onto something else within us that we don't really want to admit that we've got, but we kind of give over our free will to that and we just let it run its course. And so it's a very disempowered sort of energy. Additionally, he has vampire bat wings. So the theme of this is that it's kind of sucking the life out of us. It's sucking the life force out of us. It brings up that theme. The reverse or inverted, they call it, pentagram at the top there, the star, suggests, there's some belief that this suggests a kind of dark magic or dark occultism. I don't go there with my thinking, but that star is there. So there's sort of a suggestion of something that's not quite high vibe. It to me feels like pieces of ourselves that don't allow our vibration to be as high as it possibly could, because we're really hamstringing ourselves and not allowing our full empowerment and sovereignty to come through. All right, let's see here. So the figures who are chained here, look at the chains around their neck. They're totally vulnerable, but those chains could be slipped over their heads. All right, they're not tight. So that is signifying here that this is of their own choosing, all right? That you can, these are aspects of ourselves that we can choose to change. We can choose to make it different, to go a different path, and to shine the light on those aspects and say, no, I see you. Come on out. I'm tired of this. I'm not playing this game anymore. And off comes the chain over that head. They're not sitting there suffering. They're not like down on their knees and begging for forgiveness or something. But the longer they stay there, the more they start to look like this devil figure. They start to grow the horns. They're starting to grow the tail. They're morphing. They're changing. and becoming tied more and more and more. And there's a part of me that feels like that chain, the chain links will start to become tighter around their neck, and it will become harder to break out of it the longer that you stay in there. That's why I call it shining a light. It's like having a flashlight and you're looking at this this big lotus flower, and you're asking it, you're calling it open, you're demanding that it open, and you start looking at these things and you go, I'm just so not, I'm over that. I'm not, this is bullshit. I'm not doing this anymore. Nope. And I know this figure because I've been here before. It was something very significant in my life. And I've gone through something that I never thought I would, but I'm stronger in the end and so empowered because of it. So what else here in my notes? So in the dark in the card represents that unconscious, subconscious levels of ourselves. We have to dig a little deep on these things and to really take a look at. That's why this can be a scary card to people, because it's not light and bright and airy. This is the hard stuff. This is the stuff that we're here to really transform. I mean, again, they didn't send sissies to shift an age here into the age of Aquarius. So we're capable. We're totally capable of this, and it's time. All right. So it represents our fears. Fears live here. So very much root chakra, which is interesting because my client work this week has been all about that. Addictions and the way we sell ourselves short. That's my own team coming through on that. We're living in aspects through attachment and not owning our sovereignty. Okay. And there is a sense of hopelessness and despair that comes up. And when we look at those tough aspects of our life, whether they're addictions, we're too caught up materialistically in some things, or, anything that is really holding you back, you can feel like, oh, there's no way I can do this. And you start to get into this victim mentality, and that's just the power that energy has over you. But again, you have the choice. That chain can easily be slipped over your head. It's about making choices based on what works for you. So remember that only you have the power to shine that light. You've got the flashlight in your hand, and you can look at these aspects. So this week, I ask you to journal on, how are you keeping yourself attached to something, someone, or a mindset, and why? Like, really take a look at why. And how might you feel more freedom if you shined your light in this area of your life and took your power of choice back to honor yourself, honor your sovereignty, honor that power, and mostly honor your freedom, the free spirit? How might things shift if you took that back and made the choice to walk away, to slip that chain over your head and say, I'm done with this? All right. Thank you, and I will see you next week.